I'm Pio, this is NFTCulture, and I am here with digital artist based out of London, Uzi FX. How's it going, Uzi?
Very good. Thanks for having me here today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
um,
too.
Thank you. So, I wanted to kind of get right to it. What we like to ask artists right off the bat is, can you talk to us about your kind of creative origins? So, in other words, how you got started creating, whether that's when you're 4 years old with crayons or whether it came later, just your creative history and how you got to the point that you're at today.
Yeah, sure. I'm 36 now. I started in about 2009, the hobby of photography. It was just taking family photos, and I slowly started using like Photoshop and other sort of software, just editing in itself. And I got to a stage where I was just like trying to get a bit more creative with what I was doing, and that's how I started doing sort of more surreal edits. And at that time, there was a platform I think called Flickr. So Flickr was powered by Yahoo. I don't know if you remember that, but that's going back some time now. And I just started posting small little edits on there. From there, I just started getting this sort of real sort of first to try more different things out. So that's how I started. And I started doing edits on phones, used various different apps on phones, and my art sort of became more sort of surreal. And from then on, I just carried on doing what I have done for since 2009. And I started posting on Instagram. And Instagram is really where it set off, where I started sharing my art and a lot of people started appreciating it. And from there, I just continued doing what I was doing, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell you on that side of things, I slowly started getting a bit of commission work as well. I did a few album artworks for some artists that are up and coming. And I think that's when I started realizing that, hey, I actually have got something going here, that people do appreciate my work. So, and that's why then I came and joined the NFT.
Awesome. And I have your Instagram pulled up right here. I totally get what you're saying when it comes to the surrealism. I wanted to ask you some technical questions on just how this work gets created. It seems like some of it could be digitally native, but you mentioned photography. Do you take these pictures and then manipulate them digitally afterwards, or do you manipulate other people's pictures, or is any of this stuff just made digitally from scratch? Could you kind of shed some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So most of my work there is photo manipulation. Most of the pictures are from like stock photos that I've used from, I'd say, like Envato, various stock images. I don't take my own. I did have a camera, but kind of like realized that I can't always get the picture that I'm looking for. So stock images just help a lot more to get you the right pictures that you can sort of put together and combine to make a surreal sort of visual effect.
Awesome. And if you're comfortable talking about it, great. If not, that's totally fine too. But I'd be curious to know about the creative goes into making one of these pieces, like how it kind of begins. For example, I think this one's particularly cool right here, right? When you sit down and you say, all right, I'm in a creative mood, I want to create something right now. Could you kind of shed some light on the creative decision making that would lead you to having this, like a piece like this, as the end result?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the picture that you've got there, most of the time, I mean, it's very popular at the moment with a lot of space sort of art and people using astronauts. I sort of go through the feeds of my Instagram feed and sort of go through artists' work that I enjoy looking at. And from there, I'll take a bit of inspiration, but I try not to sort of like replicate anything I see. It's more my sort of idea of getting the main picture that I'd look for, and if it's aesthetically good, I would look at it and think, how can I add to it, and then give it more of a surreal effect. And it's all about composition for me. It's what to me sort of fits for me, to be honest. And if I think I've got the right composition, I'll go with it. Sometimes I can spend hours trying different photos out and compositing different things until I get sort of the result I'm after. Sometimes I'd start with something and I'll come up with a complete different idea at the end of it.
Yeah, and I can totally see that. I can see the focus on composition. All of these really seem to me to have very, very strong, composition framework, if you want to call it that, and in different styles, right? Like in some of them, the focus of the image is in the center. In some of it, it's more focused on thirds. I really like the composition, man. And I think it looks really like some really refined work. So
I
there's a
appreciate that. Thank
compliment
you.
for you.
Thank you very much.
And I could see why a musician would want you to design an album cover for them, because I think they could come to you with, just whatever kind of creative idea that they want, right? Because a lot of times a musician, someone from a different world that's not like a photographer or a photo manipulator or a digital artist, they'll have an idea in their mind and it's really out there, right? So someone that just takes photos, or someone, that's a filmmaker, might not be able to create it right there. But I could see that, you could bring a really wild idea to life and actually make it work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that's what I've tried with a lot of my work. It's, if you look at, no sort of art piece looks the same. I'm always trying different things out, whatever sort of inspiration I got. I wouldn't say I stick to one sort of format, but I think that's helped me really, to be honest, because as for getting commission work, I've had various different styles of artists contact me because of the diversity I have in my art pieces.
I could totally see that. Oh, I think I have some ideas, but I'd love to know, who are your creative inspirations? Like what artists or what, creators, or really who just in general has inspired your work?
I would say it's various artists. I'm really bad with names, I'm sorry, but it's just following a lot of different artists and seeing the styles and stuff. I think one particular artist, I think, is Noise 7. And Noise 7 was, he's huge now. I think he's got something like over probably 100, 200K sort of followers, or probably more now. And that was about 2, 3 years ago when there was very few people putting photos, sort of edits on sort of Instagram. And when I started looking at his sort of work, it's a lot of landscape work, but then he always adds in his own sort of compositions in there. And I think at the early stages when I started editing on my mobile phone, he was quite an inspiration because he was doing edits on his phone as well. And that's where I started believing that, hey, I can just use a mobile device and spend a lot less money than having an Apple laptop or Photoshop. And I can come out with these amazing sort of designs. And that's how it sort of set me off, really. So I think that's the name that will always stay in my head, to be honest. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. And yeah, I know he is a Nifty Gateway artist. Like he's dropped on the Nifty Gateway platform. I like his stuff too. This is one of the NFTs that was on Nifty Gateway. Looks like, yeah, sold it as an open edition. I could see why, an artist like this would influence you. Definitely, photo manipulation and doing it really well, doing it with good composition, good colors, and, interesting themes. Do any of the classic artists like, Dali or Miro, any of the surrealists from that time period, have they been an influence on you at all, or are you more focused on modern artists?
I would say more modern artists, to be honest. I mean, I have seen other sort of art going around and you do get a bit of inspiration from it. But I think for me, it'd be the modern art, to be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've got that sort of art background, to be honest. I think starting as a photo sort of manipulation artist, you just start from, anything that you find and you just start adding to it. And I think that's what's always helped me, is that I've tried to keep it to a certain level where it's got its originality, at least, to it.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And so, you were putting out these digital images on Instagram, gained some popularity on Instagram, doing some commission work. And then I'm assuming at some point in the past year and a half, you found out about NFTs. Can you talk to me about, first off, how you found out about NFTs? And then number two, like what that's meant to you as an artist and for your work?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was late sort of March is when I got a direct DM message on Instagram from a complete random person about NFTs, really, and it was a Discord group. So I had no idea what Discord was. So I joined it to see what it's all about, and that's when I realized, okay, I didn't really give it much of a thought. I had no idea what it was. And then there is a few artists that I follow that have been on Twitter, like Marisha Becker, and she's been on Twitter doing really well. And I noticed that she was posting things about NFTs, and that's when I sort of thought, let me see what this is, because these are artists that I kind of trust, and they've been in my bubble for a long time. And that's when I started looking into NFTs, really, and I found like OpenSea and Foundation, and really I just sort of realized the Twitter sort of community it just exploded. It was just brilliant. It's nothing like the Instagram at all, and that's what sort of sucked me in. And I thought, why not? Let me try to put my sort of art and then see where it goes, really.
Sure, sure. And so how has the experience been for you thus far with the NFT space?
It's been amazing because I mean it's only late March when I joined. I feel like I've been here for like about 5-6 months now. It's just one of those sort of things. But I think for me, it's just been the engagement I've been getting with people here. I've really been connected with people all around the world, and I've actually found people that are personally I find like I'm just really close to, which I didn't get on Instagram, because I mean Instagram's got the sort of format where it's more of a portfolio sort of feed. Interactions not as much, but with Twitter, I mean I had no interest in Twitter before. I tried to keep my opinions to myself most of the time. But Twitter, it's been so easy to engage with people, and I think that's what's kept me really going and motivated to keep finding more artists on there.
For sure. And so, I follow you on Twitter, obviously. You have your Foundation link on Twitter. Are you only on Foundation now as far as NFTs? Have you applied for any other platforms? Where are you at with that sort of stuff?
So I was with OpenSeas and I did make some sales. Most sales were like fellow artists buying off myself, but I did kind of find like we're not getting the major collectors really, the exposure wasn't there, or there wasn't really interested in sort of what you call lazy minting. It took me probably about a month or two until I got an invitation on FND, on Foundation. And I find for me, it's got to be a smooth sort of interface, and Foundation has that. It's a very nice interface, and that's why I kind of like for my main sort of F-related art will stay on Foundation now. However, I do have like a hen account as well, which is linked on my link tree as well, so you can find that where you've obviously seen my black and white sort of moving images. They normally go on the hen account where I'm just experimenting with different sort of art formats.
For sure. Yeah, I took a look at the Foundation, and I'm very interested to see more work from you as time goes on. So yeah, is there anything that people should look out for, like any new drops or new pieces that are going to be coming to the platform, new platforms? Like what should potential buyers be looking out for from you in the next, say, 3 to 6 months?
Well, to be honest, I think with myself, scarcity is important. I don't want to start uploading too much work. I want to upload the best work I've got. So I do work on about 2 or 3 different art pieces at a time, and I kind of choose between all 3 which one I want to put on a Foundation or not, and that's how I go about it. So it'll probably be about 1 or 2 art pieces each month that'll be dropping on Foundation. And with hen, I think that would probably be something I'll do, probably 2 as well. But yeah, there's always work happening behind the scenes. So I think there will be consistent sort of output from me. But I think I'm happy to stay on the Foundation platform and, just build on what I've got and just tell my stories, because I've got various different sort of ideas, and I'm into philosophy. I have a lot of interest in sort of like society and social constructs. So a lot of sort of deep questions that come to me and arise, I like to put it into my art and ask those questions, and just put it out there, really. I don't sort of like want to give my sort of biased opinion on something, but it's nice just to get out the feelings that I have and questions that I have in regards to society itself.
Very well put. Very well put. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Please follow Uzi on Twitter. That's at UZZI_FX. Look out for the new drops coming on Foundation. Follow on Instagram. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and follow at NFTCulture on Twitter. Thanks so much, Uzi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.